three. First is going to be just logging in. Then we're going to cover editing homepage text and adding event listing, and we'll take questions after each section. First, I just want to guide everyone through logging in. We're using the example franchise site. Can everyone see my screen?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Pardon me. Ah. Log back into that. We're going to go to head events.
Is anyone on the call that is not able to log into their Planet Events control panel? If you are, do you, if you'd speak up now?
This is Jeannie Martin. What is the website name?
So that would be your own website. What city are you set up in?
Richmond, Virginia.
Okay. Do you know your website URL to go for yourself?
No. Do you want me to log into? Where do you want us to log into? New Perspective or?
No, this is going to be for your website. So you.
All right, I can do that. That's no problem. Never mind.
Yeah, Jeannie. Right now, they're actually just showing us through a process of how to do so. So this is something that we would do on your own site, but we don't need to do anything except watch the presentation as of now.
Okay.
Okay. Nathan, can you send me the passcard for this? And we will get started.
You got it.
All right. Thank you. We're just going to log in and get that file. We don't keep passwords in the clear. Pardon. You got it? Yeah. Thank you. Close that out. I'll try that. Is this the main one or the franchisee one? Not a problem. Okay, we're just going to get the correct password so we can do this right. Sounds like a number of people are still joining us. No? I can reconnect from another computer. Oh, no, that did it, and we're in. Okay, so logging into any franchisee website is just as simple as going to the home page of your website and to /user/login. And then your username and credentials should be provided. First things first, we're going to start with editing the copy on the home page, which is the What We Do text. And you can find that under Content. You just click Content itself, and it brings you to a list of everything that's on your website that's directly editable. All right. Here we just go down the list and look for What We Do. Don't click on the title because that will bring you to the page itself, where you can see this is the text we're going to be editing. Now go back and click Edit on that line, and this will let you edit the text. This is, here we go. And this is your editor. It's a built-in WYSIWYG, so it's what you see is what you get editor. We recommend using Chrome or Firefox for this. It does have a bug with Internet Explorer. So let's say we wanted to edit the title block above what we do and change it to something like Worcester is the city we're in. And that speaks a bit more to our local area, which something can be very powerful for everyone to do. Event planning or planner or management are all equally valid terms. It really depends on what's popular in your local area, so feel free to use any of those. And now if you're going to edit the copy here, this is sort of the default boilerplate that exists on the corporate site. But feel free to make it your own. And change
it's actually one of the, Mike, could you speak to the SEO importance of having unique content?
Please enter your access code followed by the pound or...
Okay. The benefit of unique content...
To enable audio controls, please enter your audio PIN followed by the pound or hash sign. If you do not have a...
Pardon me. I'm not sure what that is. Okay.
Can everybody mute their phones, please, unless you're speaking?
Thank you.
Oh, that's much
Thank
better.
Okay. So to speak to the SEO value of unique copy, the real benefit here of having something, the real benefit of having something
Mike,
unique.
sorry. Mike Galvin, if you could either try and speak a little bit more directly right into the microphone or a little louder. We have a few people commenting in saying it's very difficult to hear or understand you.
Okay.
If you do that for us, that'd be great. Thanks.
Okay. Hopefully this sounds a bit better.
Yeah, that's much better.
Okay. New microphone, I apologize. So the benefit of unique content is that it helps your website stand out both in your local area and within the context of the Greater Plan Ahead events ecosystem. If your homepage has the same copy as other franchisees, Google's not going to weigh it as heavily as something that's unique and customized that speaks to the customers in your area or the specific services you specialize in. The benefit of unique content is pages that have it generally rank much higher, have better engagement with visitors, people stay and read longer because it's not something they've seen before. And it's also beneficial from an SEO perspective because Google is more likely to serve up a page that has unique content than one that it's seen somewhere else. So as far as the editing, we've done a few cursory edits, but it's really something where you can go more in depth. Once we're done editing, scroll down to the bottom, you'll see Save, Preview. So you can take a look at what it's going to look like when you're done. You just hit Save, and as soon as you hit that, your changes are live. And it says the basic page of Event Planning Worcester has been updated, and we can actually go back to the home page of the site just by clicking that Home button. That will always bring you back here. And look and see that the title has been changed and the copy has been changed. And that gives us something that's a little bit different than that standard boilerplate text you get right off the bat. Okay. The second part of that we can do, let's go back to content and do a little bit more editing in a page. Editing the home page is just like editing any other page, so if you were to add something like an About Us page, the editing would work just the same. Let's go in and add a link to something. To add a link, you just highlight the text you'd like to turn into a link, and you press this button right here. You can either directly type in a URL that you'd like to link to, the more you change, the more effective it will be. If you just change a couple of words, in effect, if it's just a substitution of a couple of strings, or excuse me, words, Google will still recognize it if it's something that's easily matched by a computer. It's not really unique. But once you started to customize even a sentence or two, you've reached the point where it's sufficiently different that Google's not going to treat it as identical text. Okay. So let's link this to...
Mike, if you could, as people post their questions through the screen share program, I'm not sure if everyone's seeing the screen at the same time. You just repeat the question that people have asked when you answer.
Okay. So the question was, how much should you change? And another question is, how often should you change? And really the frequency of change is less important than how substantive those changes are. Because the initial copy is so similar to other pages, it's really that differencing that is an important first step. Once you've got a unique copy, even if you're not updating pages as much, there are places on the site where more dynamic content can appear, such as in events or blogs. And events are something we're going to touch on today. And that's really where something where you've got a more timely content and more frequency of changes can occur.
So it would be appropriate to change your home page. Maybe everyone should probably be logging in, changing their home page within, ideally, the next day. But if not, make it a to-do before Thanksgiving is to revisit your home page and make it specialized to your business. And everyone starts with a sort of a standard stock template, if you will, for franchisees. So the percentage it should change should be measurable. It should be 50% or greater different if you were to want a percentage. It could be longer, and it could have links. Like what Mike's doing right now might be adding a link to cross-promote an event that you've put up in your event calendar, which we'll be covering shortly.
Let's say we want a link to contact us. We create that link right there, save it in the page, and when we go back out, there we can see the text has become a link. Now I'm going to go back in and change that in a moment. Okay. Now, as far as how frequently to update site content overall, rather than just addressing the homepage specifically, I would say if you're adding something even once a month, you're going to have a leg up on competitors who don't do any edits within the calendar year. Generally, there's a linear relationship between the more you edit a site and the more frequently you show up in search results. The real benefit of frequently publishing new content and unique content is that it's the kind of thing that Google likes to serve to their visitors because it makes their search experience better. So by feeding that new content into Google's user experience, they're going to pass that benefit on to you by sending more visitors your way in your local area. The other benefit is it just increases the freshness of the content on your site, and content freshness also has a strong effect on that. So if the page hasn't been updated in a long time, you go back and you just change it or edit links that have gone bad due to time, that in and of itself has an effect.
Great. So let's, do you want to move on to adding an event?
Sure.
Oh, you know what? Ruth just posted a question about adding photos to the home page. So would you like to cover that? Or maybe not to the home page, it could be to a photo gallery.
Okay, how to add an image to a page. There are a couple of ways to do that. I'm just going to go back into content. Let's go back and edit this page one more time. If you've already posted an image to your media galleries, I'll show you how to do that. in a moment. Otherwise, there is an image browser built in, provided we're in full HTML, which we are. We can go right into the image browser. We can upload an image, or we can select an image that already exists. I would not want to use one of those. What you'll find in the file root is the default images for the page. I don't recommend using those images. See, the first one we've got up there is that. Let's use that. The text.
So first and foremost, the photo you want to add to the page or to the website at a different page needs to be uploaded and available on the website. So that's step number one. And what you're showing here is a photo that has already been uploaded to the website and how you embed it into the site itself. And you have to navigate to the photo in a kind of a traditional folder hierarchy, like you have on Windows Explorer if you run on Windows.
Yes, and this is for images that have been uploaded directly and aren't part of the galleries. We'll do the galleries second because that's a little bit more complex. So we insert our image and we can control what it looks like and how it's going to be decorated. And if we need to change its properties, you can right-click on the image, go down to Image Properties, and that window will come back up. And you can go in and modify anything you need to do, like change it into a link to a specific internal page, or change the alt text, which is again an SEO property, but it helps describe the image. And it's also beneficial if the image doesn't load for whatever reason. We recommend only using images on the PAE site, just because hot linking can be its own peril. So let's say the image is positioned as we like, it has the right size and proportions. We'll save. You can go and see it on the home page again. It's not there yet. When I reload, it goes here. And there it is. And if we want to back a link to something.
The control panel is not an image editing software program like a Photoshop. So if you've got a large picture you took, and today's phones and cameras take increasingly large photos, we don't recommend uploading that in its native format directly to the site. It's the right format in terms of it being a JPEG most likely, but it could be a 5 meg file. No need to be uploading a 5 meg file to the website, or a 10 meg file. You're going to want to resize that, and most likely. So we recommend doing that if you know how to use Photoshop, or you could do a Google search for like free image resizer, and I'm not sure what will come up, but I know there's a number of them out there.
That website that I used to introduce you guys to at Expo and a couple of other times at training school, pickresize.com would be ideal for this scenario. So like Nathan just said, a free picture resizer, pickresize.com is a fantastic one. Okay,
so we do have one question on how do we upload the image. All right, we'll do this the first way, just going into the editor and uploading from there. And get you back into the content here. And we'll click on this picture button, which is image, which brings up this dialog option. We hit Browse Server, and this file browser comes up. And we're back in images again. Okay. The upload button is right here at the top of the tool ribbon. And you can choose a local file, and you can choose whether or not to create thumbnails of it. Sure. The upload button is right at the top of the ribbon here. You can upload the file, choose to make thumbnails of specified sizes. So if I was going to upload, choose a file from this computer to upload to the site, it would create a thumbnail as part of that process, and it would upload it right in the directory I'm already in. All right. And then when you're done and you've selected the file, you hit Insert as before. That is the first method of uploading files. And let's cover the media gallery in brief because that's its own type. Okay. Okay, if you don't have a browse button in that panel, it's most likely because of the content type on that page, and I'll show you where to set that. There's two different ways you can create pages on this site. One is in full HTML, which lets you use all tags, and one is in filtered. Filtered HTML only has a specified list of things that it allows, which are this list here. Unfortunately, filtered HTML does not include images, so we recommend using full. Try switching it to full and see if that changes it for you. It worked. Excellent, excellent. Okay, so I'm going to go back to content, and we're just going to briefly cover adding images to your media gallery. And to show you where your media gallery is, it's under Galleries. You have one for photos and one for video. And if you go into the photos can be organized into folders, and then the individual photos can be uploaded to one of those galleries. So let's go back to here. And those photos are actually done through Add Content. You can do that on this page. You can also do it in this menu at the top under Add Content. And it is of type Media Photo Gallery. You can give the photo a name. Or excuse me, and then it will let you choose a file. I'm not going to upload any Chrome files, but as an example, this is where you would do it. Now these photos are publicly visible. They're part of that gallery system. So if anything you're uploading in there is immediately going to go into one of these. So just be aware that those go right up and then are viewable in a lightbox like so. Now if we wanted to use one of those photos, folders in the gallery. Okay.
Mike, could you repeat the full question before answering?
Okay. Ruth is asking how to create folders in that gallery. All right. Now I'm just going to go back out. And add media photo gallery. We'll call this example. Oh, excuse me. Okay. Does this require a file to do? Yep, it does.
Maybe you just save one of the files off the gallery, rename it, and then upload it as a new.
Sure, I'll try that now. All right, the navigation menu I'll get to as part of the events listing because it will be relevant to that, but we will definitely cover that. Okay, so we've got our awards gala image. I'm going to upload this sample image. Okay.
So you're creating a new photo gallery and applying one photo to it?
I'm actually uploading a new photo right now. And it has just this photo in it. So we're going to call it example gallery. And I'll go in and edit one of the existing ones so we can really get a better look at it. But let's just finish creating this one as a start. So I'll hit save. And example gallery has been created. Okay, navigate back to galleries. We should default to photo. And there's our example gallery right there. And if we want to change one of the ones that already exists, we go back to content. And let's see, we have an association events media photo gallery. We go over to edit. You always click edit. And you can see all the photos on that gallery. You can remove any one you need to. You can add more at the bottom of that list. Excuse me. And you can always add another one, choosing file and uploading it right at the bottom of the list. And you can change the name right at the very top.
So this ties in really nicely with all your events. After you have an event, hopefully you're putting your events into your event calendar before the event takes place, which is great for your business, great for Google and search engines. And then after the event, you have a photo gallery which you can put up select photos and cross-promote them as a showcase for what you've done. It also can help. Yeah. You can get some social links up once the photos are there through Facebook by cross-promoting all the event photos that you're able to gather together.
Yes, it's excellent shareable content, and it also provides a portfolio of your work to prospective clients. It sort of serves double duty, which is always nice to see. So let's go back here and see if we have any more questions about photo gallery. Okay. Does anybody have any questions about editing a photo gallery?
Maybe just do like one more quick over without actually doing it, just through the navigation. So you go to content.
Okay. If we're going to add a new one, we can go to content, add content, media photo gallery, and that will create a new gallery into which we can upload photos. If we want to edit an existing one, we go to content and look for one of our photo galleries, and we can actually filter down to the type photo gallery, and I'll touch on Facebook in a moment. Okay, so here's our media photo gallery. So here's example. And let's go right to it. Right, we'll click the name so we can view it instead of editing it. And right now it just has the name Node 222, but we can change that. And let's say we wanted to link this to Facebook. You could post this link directly and share it, which is just a social share of the gallery's URL itself, of the address for this. The alternative is you can actually post metadata. The alternative for that is you would actually make a page where you've included these images and link that page back to a specific gallery on Facebook, but it would require independently updating a Facebook gallery. So the images need to go either here or there and then linked from the other side.
So if you want to put your pictures just up here, once they're all together, you would just navigate your site in as a visitor would and grab the URL for the in the address bar, and then say, yeah, we've got photos here, and put the link up into Facebook, and that's great because it brings people back to your website. Facebook also has a photo gallery tool which you might want to put them up there as well.
Mm-hmm. And then if you were to post a wrap-up blog in an event follow-up where you have the image gallery from Facebook linked in the text for that, you would just grab that URL from Facebook and then you would post it using the link tool that we showed in the editor on this side. And that way the two can link to each other.
So before we move on from photo galleries, are there any other questions on this? We're going to cover the events next. It looks like there's one. All right, great. Let's move on.
Okay, I'm just going to get rid of that example gallery. I'm not leaving up duplicate photos. Undoing it as we go. All right, now let's go back to the events. Now, the event listing is something that's already built in, but it's not currently turned on. We can turn it on very easily, though, and I'll show you how. And this touches on the menu question somebody had earlier. It is already in the menu, and to modify your menus, you go to Structure, Menus, Left Menu, which is the primary menu for your site right on the side here. That's your left menu. So you go back, here's the left menu. It shows all the links. It shows that there's an upcoming events page, which is currently disabled, and a blog in the news page, which is also currently disabled. But once you add content, you can turn them on with a check mark. It's literally just clicking the enable box and hitting save.
So by default, that all of these are disabled for franchisees, but you all can turn them on at your will just by logging in and checking just two box under structure.
Yep. And if I go back here, go back to the home page. Upcoming events is created. Yes, it is. All right, now I'll show you how to do that. Actually, let's do that now. Yes. If you wanted to add an About Us page, there is one caveat that the page has to exist and already be published, or the menu link won't show up. But I'll show you how to add a link to a menu. So let's say you're in the left menu and you want to add a link. You just click Link. Okay. So we have a couple of questions about how to add pages to the menu, whether it's an About or Services page. The process is the same. You would click Add Link. The menu link title is going to be the text that appears in the menu. So let's say we're adding an About Us page and we want it to be called About. Now the path is going to be the exact path to the page in Content, and I'll show you how to get that in a moment. And it is very specific. It actually has to be the node/number. So if you've given it a proper name like About-Us, that alias won't work here. You have to actually give it its Drupal node, and I'll show you how to do that. You can set whether or not the link is enabled. Let's disable this for now. And as soon as you have both of these parts, you hit Save and the link is in. If we set it with a parent of left menu, it'll appear in the main menu itself. And new links should default to the bottom of the list. They should appear below Contact Us, so you'll want to set the weight to be a number between the links that are already there. And I'll show you how to do that in a moment. Let's go back to the left menu. And these weights in increasing order. The weight is just the order the links show up. The higher the number, the lower it's going to go. Sort of weighting it down, I guess, is the concept. The home link is at the very lowest value it can be. It's always going to be at the top of your menu. And these other numbers correspond from there. If you wanted to fit another menu link in beneath Gallery, I would recommend decreasing the value on these two to some larger amount and putting it in there in sequence. So if we were going to add another link beneath Gallery, we'd set it to -40 and it would fit between these two. And you can hide and show those numbers right over on the side there. All right. Okay, I will get to some of those questions later. Let's just complete answering the menu modifications first, just because that can be a bit tricky. If we were going to add an About Us page, let's just put one together very quickly for the purposes of this example.
One thing to note here, when it's time to write your homepage copy over, or if you're going to be working on a bio or a special service that you have, like say you specialize in 5K runs, something like that, and you want to add a new page to promote it on your website, we recommend working on that copy in Microsoft Word or some sort of text editor, so you can save that version, do your editing, and then when it comes time to actually post stuff to the website, you've got that copy to refer to. Because there is a, Mike, what is the login session timeout for inactivity? Do you happen to know?
I believe it's 30 minutes.
So if you were to sit here on your About Us page and get stumped and then go grab a coffee and answer a couple phone calls, and then you're about halfway through your About Us text and you put all this work into it, and then all of a sudden it's 40 minutes later, your work could disappear because it hasn't been saved. You don't want that to happen, so just keep that in mind. It's happened to me before. It may have happened to you at one point in some tool, and that's always frustrating.
So here's our example About page. We're going to use this to add something to the menu. I've created it with a title of About Us. We put a little bit of text on it. We've set the URL alias. So if you go to franchise/about, this page will appear. I'm just going to hit save. It's already published. So this page exists, and this is the copy it shows. And let's go back to that left menu under Structure Menus. And let's add an About. And this is the tricky part. I'm just going to open up content in another tab so I can get this information. We want to know what the node number is for this page because it won't do the About alias. And as soon as we go into edit it, it shows us that this is node 223. I'm just going to copy that, Control-C.
We'll recap this in a minute once we've got it all done.
Yep. And I'm just going to go here, Control-V. And that shows that the menu link is named About Us. That's where the page is. The link is enabled. And it is in the left menu right in the top there. We'll set it to a weight of -40, like we said we would, and hit save. Your configuration has been saved, and there's the About Us link. Now, if that page was not yet published, this link wouldn't be visible in this menu, but it would still be here. So that pages that are not published, or if you unpublish them, they will disappear from the menu. And then you can republish them later, and it should be very streamlined. As soon as you republish it, its menu link will come right back in. Now let's go back to our home page, and we'll see our About Us page right there. And that brings us right to it.
All right, so the tricky part is that they need to remember to know how to get, after they've created the page, the node number.
Yes.
Correct? All right.
Yeah, that is the one technical part of it, because the menu won't use the alias. It has to use the actual number for the page. And the easiest way to get that is to go into Edit.
All right. So let's maybe recap that one more time.
Sure. Okay. So let's go to Content, and then click Edit. And then in the URL bar at the top, it already shows us what we want. This is the actual address of this, numerical address of this page, rather than using the words for it. We just copy the node and the number, and we go back into the menu. And if we want to edit that link, let's say we accidentally linked to the wrong one, and go back here and paste it in. And then we save our changes, and we've updated our link.
Now, we should probably make sure we remind everyone to test your link after you've added it, in case you have you have that. I'm sure you'll do it right the first time, but you always want to make sure you test your work. So after your configuration's been saved, make sure you go to your website and test it. And if there's an issue, you can call us for support, email us, or reach out to Jared. If it's you happen to be doing it in the middle of the night and you want to fix it, you can just disable the link.
Okay, we have a question about being able to change the navigation to the top. That's actually a pretty substantive structural change, so we don't actually have that enabled. That would require changing which menus are active and then changing how the theme looks, which requires a more substantial edit than just in the back end. Okay, we also have another question about subcategories, how to do subcategory links. Those are pretty easy to do. Let's modify our About Us link, and I'll show you how to do that, because it's right down at the bottom here. The parent link. Okay, the parent link is the link that this appears under. The left menu is sort of the parent of all of these top-level links. Let's say we wanted to set the About Us link to be a sublink of testimonials. We would select testimonials to be the parent link for it and hit save. And that moves it right under it, just like that. One important thing to note about parent links and sublinks is the weights only count everything else that is at the same level. So this About Us, even though it's set to this number, it appears in this order because it's under this one, not under left menu. It can be a bit tricky to do, but it lets you control the order that everything appears in. So you can change the order of your links so that your most frequently used or your most important are at the top. All right, if we go back to the home page, okay, we do have another question about social media links, which I'll get to in a moment. And speaking of those are part of a set of training videos we did when we did the initial launch. We have 3 of them, one on logging into the back end, one on editing a page, and one on editing your site information, including your social links. And we'll make sure to resend out the URL for those training videos, which cover some of the basic information covered here, although we will be going beyond what's in those videos once we start talking about events. And I'll make sure to get that link to you. And Neri, the social media links, our information is also in those videos, but I can show you very quickly where to get to them. So here are the social media links for this site right on the side. And if you want to change those, they're under Configuration, User Interface, Social Links. You can go right in here and change them to go right to your social media profile, or if there's a link in here that doesn't go anywhere, like this just goes to Pinterest.com and you want to delete it, you can remove it, hit Save. And when you go back to your home page, that link will be gone. Just like that. And again, the social media links are under Configuration, User Interface, Social Links. All right. All right, I'll make sure we get the URL for those videos to you, Mike. Now let's start with the event listings. I know we got sidetracked when we got into the menu there a little bit, but it's important information that everybody knows how to edit their menus. And part of editing your menu is adding the upcoming events page. So right now, this website doesn't have any events in it. Let's fix that. And that is done through content, the same way everything else is. And we're going to add content of type event. Adding events is much like adding a basic page. But in addition to having an event title and having a description, an event also has a date, a time, and a location. So let's put an event for this training video. Notice again, I set the text format to full, but and is on time. And it gives me the underneath, but as you can see, it will the formatting it needs for these, and you can just pick a date if you need. Let's put a location on here because you have to have a location. And the internet is technically valid location. It lets you put anything you need here, so if you need to put the name of a specific venue or just a street address, you can put either. We can skip these for now. Let's call this event Training Session 1. And that gives it that address on the website so that you can hand out that link to people. And it's short, it's meaningful. It tells you exactly what to expect. This is the URL for a training session. And another trick with editing events that is not the same as basic pages is you have to preview before you can save. It goes through and shows you what it's going to look like. There's a trimmed version that appears on the event listing, and the full version that appears when somebody clicks in the specific link for that event. This lets you modify how the event looks in that list under /events, and also how it appears on its own page. So you can either hand out a link to your events listing to show everything you've got coming up, or you can also send out a link to a specific event if you want to let somebody know about something. And those are also shareable on social media, etc. So we've got our event description. We like our date and our time. We've previewed it, and we like what we saw, so we hit save. That adds the training session event in. And if we go to upcoming events, we'll see the summary of this event right here in the list. And we can add another one for any subsequent events, and they will appear in chronological order, starting from the top. And if we want to read more about a specific event, click right into it. And there it is. Another thing we want to cover is linking out, because I know people use auction frogs and e-touches for a lot of these systems, for a lot of their events, excuse me. And you're going to want to be able to link out to those. Now, I don't have a specific auction frogs or e-touches link, so I'm just going to put an example link onto this. And if we want to go back and edit one of our events, they're located in content, just like everything else. Here's our training session event. We'll hit edit. Down to training session. I'm going to hit into preview because there's one more thing I skipped that I think everyone should need to know. There is a handy little option. I'm just going to copy that and paste it in here. And what this lets you do is put content that's only going to appear once somebody clicks into the full version of an event. So what's above the break is the summary, and what's below the break is the full listing for the event. So let's put a link to auction frogs, because I know that's something everybody uses. All right, that links out to auction frauds. We'll hit OK. That makes that into a link. And then we'll save our changes.
Mike, on that link, we can set it to go into a new window or same window, right?
Yeah, I'll touch on that in a moment. I just wanted to show the difference between the summary version and what appears above and below that break. Let's go back to upcoming events. I did it wrong. Go back in and edit that. Okay. Let's do it this way. Use the summary itself. There we go. That'll work much better.
So don't use that delimiter.
No, I thought it would work, but apparently it does not. So let's use the summary version, and let's talk about what the summary is. So on events, you can click Edit Summary next to editing the event description, and this gives you a summary version. And the summary is what shows up in that event listing under /event, which is the upcoming events page. This is the text that will appear just there, and the event description is the full description of it that will appear on the specific events page. So we can put one for auction frauds, we can put another one for e-touches, etc., and put our links there. So if we have a specific page where someone can register online or they can read more information about the venue or the event, those are really good links to put in here to give people more information.
We're just about out of time. Are there any questions?
We do have a question about the event ID field. Event ID can be useful if you have more than one event of the same name or same type. So if we had multiple training sessions in here, the URLs would have to be unique, but if you also needed internally to give the event a specific ID number, that's where you put it.
So it's more for internal purposes?
Yes. Let's go back and preview my changes. We do have to preview before we can save. All right, here's our trimmed version. Here's our full version. And those looked right, so let's go back. Hit save. Go back to the home page. So I can navigate to our upcoming events. And here we see the short version, which is that summary. And then here's the full version of the page with the date, location, and our link out.
And the URL for the session for this page you just created, that's based off of the title, correct?
Training session 1, actually that's something we added directly.
Got it.
And I'll show you where that is as well. So let's do that link and cover the training sessions URL. So modifying the link, let's double click. There. Try it again. Double click on the link, or you can also click the link button down to get its properties. So here's the URL we put in for this link. And if we want it to pop up on a new window, we go over to Target. You can set the target to New Window. And _blank is the actual technical setting internally on the HTML that does that. But just select Target New Window, and that will make this link pop up in a new window. And then we can save that setting. And to cover your question about where we set the URL, that's actually under URL path settings. That's right here. And that's always
important for SEO.
Yes. It's important that the URL of a page be short, so it's easily shareable, but also descriptive, so it tells people what kind of content to expect on the page.
I hope this was helpful for everybody. and the website does have a duplicate content issue. So if we could inspire everybody to, between now and end of, before Thanksgiving or that break, to go through here and try to update the pages that need it most, namely being starting with your home page, that would be a great stride forward. We do have a follow-up training session marked on the calendar for, Ruth, was it December 16th?
Yes, December 16th.
So December 16th, we can, if you go on back, we'll be covering some of the same material and likely a number of new things. And after you've had a chance to use the control panel a bit more, I'm sure you'll have some more, thoughtful questions and specific questions. I'll be happy to answer them then. So, got it all wrapped up unless there's any final questions.
And most of that stuff is covered on that one a file that you sent over, right, where it has PAE's optimization campaign, and it tells you how to do certain changes. Is that correct?
All of the SEO changes are part of that, yes. The event listing is new material. That's why we wanted to make sure to cover it.
Okay, and will you be providing us a little packet on that, a write-up on it so that we can share?
I think what Jared had mentioned with today's training session is recorded, so you'll be able to just use this as a quick means on how to. Correct, Jared?
Yes, it is recorded now. I will upload it to Oscar and post the link to the Facebook Collaborative group by the end of the day.
Awesome.
Okay, that's great. Could we also get, a written thing on it as well to follow along, or no?
Like a step-by-step on how to add a new training event?
Correct.
Sure, we can do that.
Perfect. Does everybody think that'll be helpful? Hello? Thanks, Sue.
We've got some yeses.
Yeah.
All right, great. So yeah, if we could get that, that would be awesome.
You bet. Happy to.
I think everybody's still on mute.
Probably.
Yeah, we had a few yeses chime in, Ruth. Sorry about that on the texting aspect of it, the chat feature. So it might have been awkward silence for you, but people were chatting in. So
okay, great.
If that makes you feel any better.
Yeah, it does. I'm like,
right,
I'm the only one talking.
Thanks again, guys. We appreciate it.
Right.
We'll have the recording up by the end of the day, and thanks again for taking the time, guys, for showing us how to do this.
Okay. Before everybody leaves, there was a couple questions that weren't addressed. Will you guys address that separately? I think Dorothy had posted a couple things about, was it Dorothy? Dina, some about the corporate website has a who we serve section on the home page that does an excellent job of presenting what we do. How can we put something similar on our pages? So there was a couple questions I saw that didn't get addressed. Any way we can have them addressed, or do you have like the printout of the questions?
Jared, do you have a printout of the questions?
I don't have a printout of them. What we could do is anybody that had a question that wasn't addressed, if they wanted to email Nathan or the New Perspective team directly and copy myself, one of the three of us will be able to answer those questions for you, and we can work on an individual basis.
Perfect. Thank you.
All right, guys. I'm going to stop the recording and